things that are handmade, and I like to see people's hand in the world. Any day in the Mission in San Francisco, you can see a hand-painted sign that is kind of funky, and maybe that person, if they had money, they would prefer to have a neon sign. But I don't prefer that. I think it's beautiful what they did, and that they did it themselves. That's what I find beautiful.
I'm an artist, and I just like those figures a lot. Do you know who painted them? They're pretty awesome.
Often in the city, when there's so many things to look at and so many things going on, you don't see those things. But I see those things.
There's a lot of talk of how damaging graffiti is and this destruction that happens with graffiti, but there's actually no damage at all. It can be like painted over with a roller. There's like just commercial jingles like that are stuck in my head, and to me that's damage to me.
The public looks at graffiti and sees garbage and sees ugliness. And I always wonder why they don't look at the billboards, especially around San Francisco. There's millions everywhere. Isn't that garbage? That's like mined garbage.
The billboards are very subversive in advertising. It's very subversive, whereas like most of the stuff that's done on the street is very close to the truth. It's like the highest art there is. I've done graffiti for a hell of a long time. There's never like a time where I was like, oh, I'm like 25 now, I'm gonna stop doing graffiti, or, you know, it wasn't like a planned thing, like, oh, I do art, now I'm gonna surf, and now I'm gonna do graffiti. It's just everything that I've always done.
And most of the things that inspire my artwork are folk art of some kind. American folk art. I'm also very interested in Indian folk art. When I first started painting seriously, I used to look at a lot of typography from like the 16th century and the color of the inks that they used, which were normally black and red and sometimes blue. Having a background in doing printmaking and doing letterpress, I became very interested in images that were flat and graphic, and my painting still today is very flat. In my own work, I do everything by hand. I don't project. I do spend a lot of time trying to perfect my line work and my hand, but my hand will always be imperfect because it's human. If I'm doing really big letters and I spend a lot of time going over the line and over the line trying to make it straight, I'll never be able to make it straight. From a distance, it might look straight, but when you get close up, you can always see the line waver. And I think that's where the beauty is.
I bring in every little damn thing on the street. Some stuff makes it, some doesn't. Some things just get walked on for years and years and then magically it works in a frame. I like that process of a thing like discarded, then picked up, and then intercepted, and then I do something on it, and then it goes into a fine collector's home probably. And it's, once again, it's cherished. The framed clusters of drawings are usually little scenarios that have developed and that I've seen on the street, and then go home and just draw it or whatnot, and then put it into a frame. And then I always just thought of them as like similar to like how a community of some sort might work. Some areas people are getting along great, having a good time, and then some have tension. So it's like loosely like a community. When I went into the art school, I wanted to know everything. I took installation classes, I took performance classes. I was just like, I wanted to know this thing, art, like so badly. I wanted to know what the hell it was. I could never knock art school. I learned so much about the process of making and documentating, and voila, here's art. We have art. Yay, everyone applaud, we have art. So I felt like I was like an art school jock of some sort. If it was art that I was going to do, I was going to be good at it. There's no way that I was going to be lousy at it.
Oh my God, we gotta go because there's a guy back there and I don't know. All right, we should probably go.
The thing that really fascinated me about the trains is it's very much about folklore.
You see a huge variety of markings, just really, really old ones, and there's so much history there.
It is something that's been happening ever since trains were around, and it is still happening today. It's happening in the present, and yet when you look at it, it looks like folklore.
He originally wrote it in '85, and then he came past it again in '91, and then he came past it again in '92. So every time he goes past it, you update your signature. You're learning about someone without ever even knowing the person. There's legalities about riding on someone else's property too, which I always enjoy. But there's a lot of people that are just working class people that ride on trains, and
they don't know why they do it.
I don't know why we do it. It's like you just do it. We haven't got kicked out or anything. I was expecting to get kicked out.
I know. That's a good one. All right.
That was it.
No, don't. Very no.
You gotta have one on there. There's ozone on there, Mark. Whenever I do stuff indoors, I always feel like I have to do like 110% more stuff outdoors to keep like my street credibility. Like it's probably the audience I'm most worried about. Like the graffiti kids that are really doing stuff are like, and I'm always wary of how I sit in the eye of like a 12 or 13-year-old kid. Like, what do they think of what I've done? How I fit in their scheme of things, or oh, that guy, he sold out.
The more and more work I do in a gallery, then it's really easy to get separated from people. You want to be able to sell your work, and you want to be able to live off your work. And that world that involves the art buying and selling is a very closed world, and sometimes you forget about the other world around you.
It has to do with money, you know, and who has access to space. And when I feel like the access to space is like cut off for like the general public, I feel like that makes me want to do stuff on the street even that much more.